What's good, YouTube? We have Team Zodiac's own Grant Wilhelm, another top in this city that had 400 duelists at its regional. And what you just do?
Top 8 with Mermail.
Let's go ahead and get into it.
So 2 Megalo, 3 is too many, and like 1 isn't enough. Like 2 is really a good number. 3 Teus. Teus like the best, like probably the best one, I think. It searches like all your level 4 lower mermails, which is like, it's really important for pike. If you open Teus and Dragoons, it's like an instant Bahamut and a Toad. So it's like for the big guys. And then 2 pike and Mander. So Mander is part of the Osha Teus combo, which I guess here's like the other mermails: 2 gun, Hild, and then Osha. So Osha and Mander are a part of the, if you open Teus, Aqua Spirit, and any water monster, that's 2 Bahamuts and 2 Toads. And 2 gun is really necessary because late game, if they clear your first board, which like rarely happens, you want to have something to pitch to bring it back, like bring yourself back. So these can bring back like Megalo, Teus. You can even bring back like level 4s to make another Bahamut or a Dweller or even like Utopia. And Hild is like really good because there's like a lot of situations where you might have like Teus and Hild, and you can do the chain links to where you can add something off Teus and then like special it immediately. And so it's just like an accelerator. I really liked it. And also these work with swap really well. If you ditch any of these off swap, they get all their effects. So like if you ditch this with swap and you also have this, you can ditch this with swap again. And so you have an instant Toad made off frogs, but you can also have like another level 4 on the field.
Nice.
So that's all the mermails. Then for like the Atlanteans, Diva. I didn't play like the Kriston combo, but I think I might in the future if you don't know what it is. Yeah. 3 Prince, 2 Dragoons, 2 Infantry, and then I decided to make Marksman. I play over 40 cards, so I thought making Marksman would be fine, and it was really good. Like there's some times where you just need to take out a set card, and it's a really easy side out versus like metal foes and things that, you know, it's like it's like subpar against. But overall, it was like pretty good. I like the Atlantean count. Then for the frogs, 3 swap and Ronin. These are like extremely good. Like I said, you can trigger your gun, you can trigger your Hild, and making Toad with these is like really good because if you make a Toad and you have this banished, let's say, you detach and then you special the other one. If you tribute the Toad off, you can add back the swap frog. And if this swap frog goes to the grave, you have another Toad. But you can just summon the swap that you added back and then banish another one for Toad, for the Ronin. So it's almost like if you get this off turn 1, that you're gonna have 2 Toads eventually. And then like the last monsters are like 3 Aqua Spirit and 1 Glacia. Like 3 Aqua Spirit, like this card's insane. You just remove a water from your grave or banish water, and then you special it. And that can come with like an infinite number of plays. And then Moon Glacia is like really good turn 1, especially versus Pendulum. Like the Metal Foe deck, they need like all their cards to play like well. And if you drop this, they have 4. And if you make a Toad, they essentially have 3. And when you're playing a Pendulum deck and you have scales, like the number of cards you have is pretty much 2 minus like what's in your hand. So you leave them with 1 card, and they really don't have anything. So that's off the monster. They get like 29. For spells, 3 instant fusion. Best card, triggers everything, or triggers the Dragoons. 3 Desires, best card. 2 Murray. I don't want to draw Mander or Osha, or sometimes even Gund or Moon Glacia. Like just clogging with too many is bad. So you like Magical Mallet, but not trash. I decided to main 2 Chalice. So I main 2 Chalice because I was really scared of ABC. And pretty much if you go first versus them, like you want a stronger play besides Toad. Because you want to save Toad for like things like Dimension Barrier or anything like that. So what Chalice does is Chalice stops their Tsukiyomi, and it also stops their Gadget. And if they don't have, like, they usually just won't have anything after that. If they have like the Empowerment, they're gonna have like so little cards that it's usually not gonna matter in the end. It's also good going second because Dweller and Alcahest. Like Alcahest is also like a big problem I wanted to solve, which is why I played Regeki as well. So these all solve Alcahest. And Dweller, like if my opponent were to make it, well, not Regeki, but yeah, these are just really good, like in general. And this is also really good versus Heroes. So Heroes is also like a really bad matchup, but any of these cards just like beat Darklaw. And even though I lost to it, like in theory, I was still trying to like beat it through though. And then like the obvious like just degenerate cards. These cards are insane. I never even drew this, but I still have never even changed it. And Sphere's like really good. I didn't play Scale. And for the extra, Norden, and then I mained these two because I side cherries, but I didn't want to side them. These were definitely worth it. Like, I resolved cherries a bunch on the Dragon Buster, and then that deck just has no steam, so it made it just really easy. Then the 2 Bahamut Shark and Triple Toad. Triple Toad is definitely necessary. 2 Bahamut Shark, you make this like turn 1 if you have the 3-card combo, and then you usually make 2 of these turn 1. Like, it's just really consistent. And then I played the Utopia and Utopia Lightning. This came up in the mirror to attack over their Toad and just do like damage, like make sure they didn't get any value out of it. It also came up versus Paleozoic, just things like that. It doesn't come up that much because the rank 4s usually making are things that you can trigger Dragoons off of, like Dweller as well, like Dweller, Bahamut Shark, because you really want to make the most out of your Dragoons. Dweller, I really didn't make it a bunch for the graveyard effect as much as I did for the attack boost and to like trigger Dragoons, like I said. And this card is insane, actually. I made this turn 1 like if I could, because like as much as possible. Like versus ABC, if they summon a gadget, you can just chain it and then it gets negated. It's a skill drain for monsters lower than its attack, and it's a quick effect. So it's really good, and level 5 or higher can attack as well. So it's even good versus like Metal Foe. Like their Kieran can attack it, and you can just negate it, and then it's like swing over it or Raigeki it. So yeah, this card is definitely like really good. And then the synchros, I had to keep my synchro count to a minimum since I mained the Buster and the Dark Law, but I just play like what I see as the necessary ones, like Tatsunoko, just so you can clear your board, like when you summon Diva, because you don't want to leave like a Diva and the Prince on there. And Coral Dragon, this is really good. At one point, I had a Coral Dragon and a Abyss Gaios up, and my opponent had Emptiness, and he's playing Pendulum, so I had him locked down to where he could only like top deck Pendulum monsters, and I would just pop them every turn with Coral Dragon. And Leo, once again, it's just to clear your board, like when you do Diva into the level 1, and you have like usually like a Teus, you can just synchro for Leo. So that's the extra deck. In the side deck, 3 Ghost Cherries. Like I said, it's for ABC, it's for the Dark Law deck, and even in the mirror, like you can get their Toads out of the way, and it just makes it like a whole lot easier.
How do you feel about this card moving forward, and how did it kind of do for you today? Because a lot of people are on the fence about it.
Yeah, I mean, man, every time I drew it going second, my opponent like bricked. Like they never even did anything. So I guess it was subpar in that aspect, but usually in a large tournament scenario, like that's not going to happen as much as it did today. So I think moving forward, I'm still going to play it, but I mean, I'm not sure. Like in theory, it's really good because you don't want them to drop Buster, you don't want them to drop Dark Claw, you don't want them to drop Toad. Like, and once they like commit to those plays, like especially in the mirror, like if they have 2 frogs on board and then they're trying to go for it, but you just interrupt them with the cherries, like they're just stuck with those 2 little monsters. Like they don't really have much team. And then 2 Maxi, it's for the mirror for Yangzing Metal Foe. I put it in versus like ABC sometimes as well, like if it's like really scared of them drawing like good stuff, like because I mean Gadget to Tsukiyomi into Buster, it's at least 3 cards.
Is it mostly for when you know you're going second?
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean ABC's always gonna choose to go first. And then 2 Gamma Seal. I never really sided this in today because I never really played. This is like for Blue Eyes, like. You really can't get over Spirit because they'll just get like insane value out of it. They'll go into Moon Rose to bounce it, and then they'll negate your graveyard effect. So this is really what it's for. But since Blue Eyes is decreasing in popularity, I'm probably not going to play as much as this. And it's also for the Dark Law deck, which I put it in versus, but I didn't see it. So I mean, I'm probably still going to play it moving forward. Then Spells 3 system down, and it just kills ABC. I mean, what else is there to say? Like.
Cosmo.
2 Twin Twister. I didn't think 3 was necessary. Like I said, I mained the Marksman. This card is good, but there's no floodgates like that hurt this deck. That people are playing like Macro D-Fissure. Like you don't gotta worry about stuff like that anymore. So I thought 2 was fine. And then like the best card on my side deck by far, it just made every Pendulum deck free. 3 anti-spell. This card is insane. Like I can't stress that enough. Just this is game. People just can't break that most of the time. Like versus Pendulum, it's crazy. This card is just so good.
All right, so how were your rounds for the most part? Do you remember any of them? Like in order, matchups?
I played 2 Paleozoic, 3 Metal Foe, 2 ABC, a Dark Magician, and I can't remember the last one.
Any shout-outs?
Shout out to Team Zodiac, shout out to Troll and Toad,
Hey.
shout out to Gustavo. He's the one who lent me this whole deck because none of this stuff is mine. He handed me it all, like max rarity and everything. Like big shout out to him, he's from my hometown. Shout out to Team Make Houston Great Again. We had 3 people that were 6-0 at one point, so you know we're coming. We're trying to do our best, but unfortunately, you know, sharking happens, and
Oof.
yeah, that's what happened around 9. So yeah, so shout out to the people I rode here with: Santos, Michael, Alex Cancel.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah.